You're good.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Augusta Township Council regular meeting, May 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And we'll start with our call the meeting to order. And we'll start off with our land acknowledgements. Do I have a volunteer, council? Councilor Henry, please.
Augusta Township acknowledges that we live and work on ancestral territories of Indigenous people. The township recognizes all Indigenous peoples and honors their past, present, and future. The township values and respects their cultural heritages and relationship to the land.
Thank you very much, Councilor Henry. Next, we have the mayor's opening remarks. And I have a few tonight. First of all, I want to welcome Mr. Steve Lunt, who was recently appointed our new treasurer. So congratulations and welcome to tonight's council meeting.
Thank you.
And, next, we have my list here is Mel Campbell, former reeve of Augusta Township. I heard he's in St. Lawrence Lodge, just to let everybody know. Also, one of our citizens, well-respected citizen, Ken Miller. Ken Miller excavating for many years. He passed away last Thursday, just so you know, everyone. So our thoughts are with this family. I believe he was in the Lodge household. Next, we had notice the Maitland Post Office. If you go there and drive by, they have a little butterfly garden starting there in front of it. So it has the sign up and everything else. So it's nice to see there's spread around these little gardens. So I attended a session, Food for Teens, last, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. It was the third meeting. And again, every time I attend these meetings, I find out more and more information. Information I didn't really realize what was happening in the area. But here's just a couple of quick points. One is there is a weekender backpack program, which they put together for kids. And in this area, they do 379 kids. So that's just amazing. So this is all volunteer work, of course, and donations. So also, I didn't realize that the skateboard kids in Prescott, there's actually 80 of them. And they get together and they come to I think the Prescott Library afterwards for meals too. So I was impressed by that. Prescott, they've basically, their council is going to be approached for a pilot program. It's 25 cold lunches at approximately cost of $10,000 for 8 weeks and will consist of a summer student running their program. And again, this is to help, food for teens sort of thing there. So anyway, if it hasn't gone in front of their council, I believe it is going to, but I think it will probably be passed. Next, Judy Bree gave me some numbers also on the spirit of giving we do at the holiday season. 350 families. Augusta has 97 families registered, 21 shut-ins and 48 kids. So Augusta, it's almost between Augusta, Edwardsburg, Cardinal, and Prescott. It's almost a third with the Spirit of Giving program. And next, I had Clerks Week. Was it last week or this week? Last week. Well, we didn't have council last week, so congratulations to our 2 clerks. Next, I attended a 55th wedding anniversary of Christine and Chris Slater on Saturday. Again, 55 years. It was kind of nice to just walk in. I gave them a certificate and sent them greetings from council and the what I'm saying, the Augusta residents. That's what I'm saying. Next, just a point to all my counselors. You know, at any time you can use council chambers, as long as you check with the clerk's office, that's not previously booked. So if you want to talk to someone, have a meeting, you're welcome to use this, just for scheduling reasons, check with the clerks. But at the same time, I think we gotta be appreciative of the staff's time. I know some of us come in here and we spend time, and time works out to hours and everything else, and then some duties don't get, responsibilities don't get done. So I'm not saying don't come in, I'm saying just realize you're cutting into the staff's time, because they're staying older now to finish up and catch up on their work. And yes, I am probably the one mostly in here talking to all the staff, but that's because I have to touch base with each one of them. A lot of it on counties duties and updating them and everything else. But I have the most on my plate. So anyway, just be conscious of their time. And if you want to make an appointment with any of the staff, make an appointment. But again, I just don't want to see them staying after hours, trying to catch up or taking the work home. Okay? And that's it for me and my remarks. The next I have is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bowman, be it resolved that council agenda for May 12 be adopted as amended. The one item we want to add to tonight's agenda is regarding Augusta residential lands under item J, boards and committees reports. Okay, so there's no questions on that. Call the question. All in favor? Here. Thank you. Next, we have disclosure of any pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Does anybody have anything to report? Sorry, did I miss one? Oh, I missed the minute, so stay with me that. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Be resolved the council approve the minutes of the April 28, 2025 council meeting as distributed to all members. Does anybody have any corrections, anything they want to mention, reference the minutes? See nothing, I'll ask the question. All in favor? Here, thank you. Now, read disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Does anybody have anything to report? Yeah, see nothing. Any business arising from the minutes? Okay, see nothing. No delegations and presentations tonight, I believe. Correspondence and petitions. I don't think there's any. Clerks. Boards and committees. So, first, county's council. So, county would have committee the whole meeting. Again, it was fairly quick. I say quick, 2 hours long, but anyway, it was mostly a lot of tenders being sent through. However, Bill Guy, who's the public works engineer, he's retiring soon. And I believe, I don't know if our public works knows the name, but it's Mr. Finley. Is it Chad Finley? I don't know if you've heard or not. So anyways, last name's Finley. He's taking over. Bill, so. I don't know where from. I just shook his hand. Next, we had presentation from EOR, Eastern Ontario. I'm slipping all over the place here. Regional Network, and they did a presentation, much the same as we had in here. And so that took place also. Couple things were mentioned that, as you might know, new code of conduct is coming through Parliament. It hasn't been passed yet, but they expect it to in the next couple of months anyway. So when it does, I imagine everything will come down. Again, it's mostly for councillors and councils. We had a planning meeting also. Basically, the first week in January, we had a pause and everything, a 3-month pause, just because of the tariffs and everything else going on. So I think that's going to be lifted the first week in June. And we're going to continue with the aggregate review. And we're going to continue with the growth study. And of course, the ag review. The ag review, everybody's happy except for North Grenville. And by that time, they assumed they would be ready to. So. As far as AMO is concerned for the counties, the ones they've looked at, doing delegations, I think number one on the list was MPAC. You know, why we haven't had assessments since 2016. Next is VTAC. VTAC is the virtual, they call it VTAC, and basically it's Atlantic County does it, and it's a place you can go where you want immediate medical attention. They'll have a doctor there, nurses, everything else. And they also have it over the, like I said, virtual. You kind of tell them your issues, your problems, they'll get back to you, you know, stuff like that. Again, it works very well in the Lanark, I guess. So they want to try something like that in Beasley Rim. Also cross-border billing, that has to do with the paramedic service for when our ambulances go into Lanark, go into Ottawa, that sort of thing. POA, which is the Provincial Offences Act, trying to get back our $500,000 that they still owe us because the courts are behind. So, and energy, of course, supportive housing, all that. So it looks like county's council will be busy at AMO with delegations, depending on how many they're approved. So that's it for county's council. So next I'll go on to the conservation authorities.
And both conservation authorities have been updating on their flood watch. Most of it's been for the Ottawa region. We're quite fortunate up at this end, we're in the headwaters, so very little chance of flooding this year in this area. We also have a meeting on Wednesday, South Nation, the executive with the one-on-one to go over the work plan for this year for South Nation. And then, of course, our board meetings this Thursday and for Rideau Valley and the third Thursday of the month, our board meeting.
Good. Any questions for the deputy mayor? Okay, next recreation. Anything out of the recreation committees? Councillor Henry?
Your worship, we had a meeting April 30th. The pickleball courts, as you can see, are open as of the 10th is what the date was. They had told me they were opening them. The tournament is still coming up July 26th and 27th, and they had about 30 people registered so far. The committee's looking for businesses right now to do sponsorships for signs for around the pickleball courts. So far is BD Duclos is there because of the donation that they've given, then committee passed a motion to not charge BD Duclos because of their donation. And so the options are $250 a year or $600 for a 3-year commitment. So they're looking for businesses to hopefully sign up.
Okay. Anyone else? Sorry, Councillor Bowman.
Just an update, kind of reminder that Merck is we haven't had a meeting till tomorrow night, but Merck's barbecue is May 24th, $25 for a half chicken, baked potato, coleslaw, and dessert. They also, I believe it's about 10 vendors that they're gonna have there, and they're also having a live band. It's called 8th Line.
I'm gonna do my best to be there, but I got a retreat in Kempville that day, so I'm hoping to leave early to get back to Merck. And in case you don't see me. Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, North Augusta, we had White Township meeting. A rec meeting and they were quite down on the township. They've had a lot of conflicting reports from Kathleen about the light pole. One, it was gonna be taken care of right away, then they were told that they couldn't get one, then they said she had to go to an RFP because she never, supposedly she had ordered one, but that she didn't know what the expense was, so there was conflicting emails back and forth, which didn't make sense. So their first night game is the 13th. They've had to try and reschedule them. And that was the frustrating part because if Kathleen would have let them know right away, they could have let the teams know to try and do something different, but it all kind of fell in the last couple of days. North Augusta had ball field fertilized by a donation, they had it rolled by a donation, they had it leveled by a donation, and now they have the netting put up by a donation. So it almost seems like we'd be better off if we went back to the way we were before. Call this a failed experiment, what we're doing now, and let the recreation committees take care of stuff on their own and just give them so much money and let them do it. Because also the community hall hinge door needs to be fixed. That's been on the list for quite a while. The benches behind the fire hall were supposed to be installed in the spring. They've had problems with the snow blower being picked up. And water valve, which was almost last year to be fixed, it's not been done. So.
That's a long list, but yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I've seen the emails because I was copied on them and, yeah, I'll let the CAO maybe jump in here because he answered most of them. Can't tell you what's true, and what's not true. All I know is I get all these emails and I finally asked the CAO today, I said, where'd the pole break? And he showed me it broke at the bottom because I thought maybe it blew over or something, but it didn't, so. But, anyway, you want to say something?
Yep, so through you, Mayor, so, update on the lights, so we did meet with, Troy, from Duke Electric on site on Friday morning. He's actually already been there today, all the lights are currently working on the ball diamond, except for the one, of course, that's broken. There's a few wiring safety concerns, that he found that he's going to fix as well. And, he's actually going to go back and check tonight because he, moved some of the lights around just to fill in the gap of where that one light broke. So they moved the lights. He's gonna go there tonight just to make sure that the light broadcast is working in the areas that we want. So baseball for this weekend will be a go, and I certainly reached out to the committee on Friday and advised that. As far as a long-term plan, we don't think it was a storm that brought that light pole down, but we certainly want to make sure that the other 8 poles that are there are not a safety concern either. So BD is out there testing the poles right now just so that we can find out if they are decayed. I've asked him to give us a price on replacement of a wooden pole and a replacement using a galvanized steel. Although we might pay more for the galvanized steel, from a long-term perspective, we'll never have to worry about those lights again. But to me, the issue right now is just to make sure that those lights that are currently up there don't become an issue. So the plan is to not to touch anything else for the summer, is to let them continue their baseball unless there's poles that are identified that need to come down. We don't want to ruin the fields or do anything like that. It will allow us to bring a report to council once we have the pricing and once we have more information to look at either doing a replace of the light poles in the fall, or looking at putting in our budget next year and doing it first in the spring before baseball season starts. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the baseball lights, so.
Yeah. But kind of my point was, North Augusta probably could get most of that stuff done for nothing if they were the ones doing it. So they would get like either Finucane's tree service, or they'd get Splash Well Drilling to come in, bore the hole, whatever. All these companies that work with North Augusta would do it for nothing, but if the township is paying for it, we're gonna pay through the nose.
Yeah, there's certainly, there's permits that still need to be required, your ESA and stuff like that, that would need to be followed through. So I understand is that the volunteers can do some of the work, but there's certain stuff I think that we as a township want to make sure it's being done correctly. Because in the end, if anything happens, it's coming back on us, not coming back on them. Right, so. There certainly are facilities, we want to make sure that we're maintaining the facilities up to our standard. And I don't disagree, there's opportunities for us to, things that they can get done, like the fertilizing and the lawn rolling and stuff like that. We can certainly look at those kind of things, because it's collaboration, right? It's not one way for sure.
Any other comments? Usually when I see a string of emails like that, the first thing that comes to my mind is there's a communication problem somewhere. So I think it's to everybody's interest that we try to communicate better to each other. And that's all I'm gonna say right now, so. Okay, anyone else? No? Okay, library board, Councilor Bowman.
We haven't had a meeting, I don't till next week, but just a few reminders that they do pins and needles on Monday, Lego Club and Story Time on Wednesdays, homeschooling and crafts on Tuesday, and their book and plant sale is May 31st from 9 to 1.
Questions, Councilor Bowman? No? Hey, Economic Development Tourism Committee, Councilor Payne.
Thanks, your worship. So we met on Monday, another really positive meeting. A lot on the go. Work still continues on the Augusta map. We got some more mock-ups of some of the attractions in the township, so we're continuing. We actually approved a recommendation to come to us tonight to apply for a grant for a community garden that Willow was able to track down for us. More discussion was held on the community conversation that I brought up a few months ago, that they want to bring to invite new residents to the township to kind of come together and share what they were expecting when they got here, what they didn't get, and so on and so forth. Also, work continues on the Makers Map Instagram account. Right now, the focus is to grow the following on it and get the word out to makers in the area, to, you know, what it is and how they can collaborate with it. It's slowed down considerably, since we launched it. I don't think we've had a follower in the last week. So it's one of the things that I brought to their attention, just to kind of get some ideas on how to grow this, if it's gonna continue. So that aside, I also had an update on some other projects that are happening in the township that it was suggested I bring to council's attention through the economic development update, and that is with the broadband. So I have had meetings with both Cogeco and Bell in the last week. Bell is still on track for an end of year completion. Hydro has delayed things considerably for both with permitting, which was only completed about a month ago. So once the permitting was completed, and some of the reports they got from Hydro has determined that a fair amount of work still needs to be done on the Cogeco side. So the update from Cogeco is that the two projects that they still have ongoing, so the CRTC project, which is going from 26 between North Augusta and County Road 15. And then that's done. Next, what they're working on is 15 north along County Road 15 to the Augusta Library. That will provide service to about 50 homes. That's still pending approvals, but they expect that once they get those approvals, work will be completed very quickly. And they're expecting that to be completed by the end of summer. The larger project, which is about 485 homes, including myself and Councillor Henry's, along Concession 2 and Sparkle City, Donville and Maynard. Cogeco's build is finished. They're finalizing permits for the aerial build out. The project is initially targeting an end of June completion. Right now, they are looking at a lot of the ones like Councillor Henry's will be done hopefully by end of August, and everybody else could be as far as October. So that's still in the works. There'll be more updates once we get more information on the hydro side of things. From a Bell perspective, information that has come to my attention that I wanted to share, and I have confirmed with Bell. I guess there was some signals crossed between the Bell sales team, who's going out selling the Bell wireless, and the fiber deployment team. And the sales team is going out telling people that fiber is not coming to their areas, and they're getting a little bit upset because all the indications are there that it is. And so they're calling me. I'm following up with Bell, and they're like, no, it absolutely is coming there. So if anybody should approach anybody on council, or if you're listening to this and somebody has told you otherwise, by all means, reach out to me. I can confirm with your address that you are in fact on the project. That information has been now relayed to the sales team, so that shouldn't be an issue going forward. We just want to make sure that everybody has the correct messaging, and that everybody will be getting fiber including Jeff. So hopefully, by the end of this year, we're still on track to have everybody done. And that's all I got.
Okay, any questions? I'm glad you're passionate about this. We just care if we get it or not, you know? So, but we are thankful that you keep us updated on it and you know this stuff very well. We don't. This is either it's Bell, Cogeco or Rogers or whoever. I just want it to work, you know, so anyway, that's, yeah, thanks for that. Okay, next, PAC committee, planning committee.
Okay, on our planning committee, we had, we looked at stop up and road, allowance in North Augusta again. We came back to that again. It's gonna come back to council. And then we had 2 new lot severances on, Skated Road. And then there was a bunch of correspondence. One of the interesting things on correspondence was OMAP letter to municipalities re the agricultural system implementation, which they want to map ag lands and soil types, which has just been done in the area ag review. So it's like they're duplicating it, but they're 2 steps behind us. That's that, and I guess we're gonna slowly work ahead on our official plan.
Any questions for the deputy mayor? Okay, next is the, oh, my glasses here first, OPP, EB, which is the, Police Services Board for the 3 municipalities. Again, we haven't had our meeting yet. It was postponed, so more information to follow
Next.
later.
Mr. Mayor, if I.
Yeah.
Yeah, next meeting is May 28th at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
In Prescott.
Okay, next, Mr. Garrity is River Road.
Just an update, not much of an update for council, but we are meeting the last week of May. We're just waiting for the city of Brockville because the city of Brockville joins us at those meetings too. So hopefully in the first meeting in June, I'll be able to come back with some stats, at least for council to take a look at. And just to see how much use is being done in Augusta and then kind of determine from there where we want to go moving forward. So.
Thank you. Yes.
Could I just add something to the Police Services Board? When
Yeah.
we do have a meeting, I know Deputy Mayor Wynan said at the last meeting about people waiting for police checks.
Yes.
I know of someone that is also waiting for a police check. He's going to Queen's University. He may lose his first semester because he's waiting so long for a police check. They outsource it, which is the problem. It takes 6 to 8 weeks. I think one thing is that they need to make maybe people aware of that, because before it would take a week or 2 and you'd have it no problem. You know, people could lose jobs or semesters or whatever because of the long wait times for their checks. Just,
Yeah.
you know, another concern about that as well.
Yeah, so I did reach out to our inspector. She's looking into it right now. Hopefully we'll get some feedback. Once I do, I will certainly send it out to all council.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Garrity, on Augusta Residential then?
Yeah, so certainly want to bring this forward with council, just as we are approaching the growing season for the ag community. Currently, right now, we do have about 70 acres in our land that we purchased in 2024, sitting, doing nothing right now at this time. Wanted to bring it forward to council to see if council was open to the idea of possibly putting out an RFP or something like that to see if there would be any farmers interested in growing on our land this year and paying a certain price per acre. It would give the township some additional revenue, but also it helps when the property's just sitting there doing nothing. So wanted to see what council's thoughts are on that, and what we look at doing is putting something out very relatively quickly to see if any farmers are interested. We would look at whoever kind of pays the highest price per acre. And we would look at doing that. Next year probably won't be as relevant because we'll be getting into the water and sewer infrastructure, but I don't foresee any issue this year in trying to generate some extra funds with the land sitting there doing nothing right now.
Councilor Henry?
We know was farming the land before we bought it, like, is it possible just to approach them?
So certainly our cans that owned it before, we can certainly put it out to them, or we can put it out to the community and take a look and see who wants to do that. I'll certainly leave that up to council on direction.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think if we do this, we have to do it fairly quick. We have to put a timeline
Yep.
of no later than this weekend.
Yep.
I can reach out to a few farmers that I know would be interested and tell them that they have to have it in by
Yep.
Friday.
Yep.
And they'll have an answer, or have it in Thursday and have an answer on Friday. So that they can go ahead and plant, because the field, it won't take much to get ready.
and just to note, the Arcans had to come from the Kempville area, so it was kind of a long haul for them, so they may, you know.
I think the Robinsons, if I remember correctly, was farming it, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, our,
No, our fence.
Oh, our cans were, okay, so I'm confused with that.
Robinson's was right beside him.
Oh, okay.
and the other thing, like, you know, we don't want weeds starting to grow or God forbid chestnut or butternut trees. Because if weeds start to grow, then we gotta maintain it and get it cut. And
That's right.
being so close to to Prescott, we get complaints, so.
Well, there is a noxious weed act, and if you get any noxious weeds, you have to tell it. So then you're spending money where you could be making money.
Just the only thing I was thinking of right now, I don't foresee it being an issue, but I'll certainly reach out tomorrow if council decides, is the studies that we undertook last year. I want to make sure that if somebody goes in there and plants anything, that we don't negate the studies that we did. So I don't foresee it being an issue because it's just normal farming that's being done. It's not like it's an endangered crop that we're growing in there, but I want to make sure that there's no issues that would hamper our studies. Because we spent almost $100,000 on those studies, so I'd hate for them to go to waste.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I would say maybe we put a restriction in of corn, wheat, or
That's exactly.
soybeans.
And that's when they might
So
come
that you don't
back.
get into anybody wanting to put gen seed or something like
Yeah,
that in, which
yep.
stays in the soil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and certainly council can do that if they want to, if you just want to look at soybean, corn and,
Probably too late for wheat, but corn would be,
Okay.
yeah.
corn and whatever else. If you want to just be specific, we can certainly do that way too.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, so did you have a? Yeah. Huh. All right, so our clerk has done up a resolution here, moved by, I'll say Counselor Henry, and seconded by Counselor Pape. Be it resolved, the council approve the lease of Augusta residential lands for the purpose of farming legal crops on the land, and that staff be directed to release a request for proposals from interested proponents with a closing date of Friday, May 17, 2025. Comments, I'll call the question, all in favor? Carried. Good. Okay, next we have administration and finance. And, we'll, let's read out the moved by Councilor Henry, seconded by Councilor Vaughn, be resolved the council direct staff to submit an application to the Futures Grant through Community Futures Grenville for a community garden. And would anybody like to speak on that? I believe Councilor Pape said.
You got it, you're ready.
I can certainly speak to it. So this was a grant that came up internally with staff that we thought would be a great project, not only for the community garden that came forward, the economic development, but also the butterfly project that Heidi presented 2 meetings ago. So what the funding is all about is to promote environmental, it's one of the components, with the opportunity to expand the program year after year. So this is something that we took to the Economic Development Committee last week. The committee approved it. We've already had some discussions with Seaway on as far as partnerships, and we certainly got a lot of stakeholders on board with this project. So as far as the logistics of it, we haven't worked all that out yet, but you know, be looking at doing something behind here that could be achievable to not only seniors, but community groups that wanted to kind of rent for the summer, a kind of raised garden, that type of stuff. We could look at donations to the food bank. That's part of that as well too. So this application is due June 6th, 3rd, 2nd,
Second,
2nd.
yeah.
So we're looking for council's approval on this, and certainly Willow's already begun putting the application together, but certainly we'll take direction from council. if they want.
Your worship, I
Just a correction on that one, the CEO said Seaway.
Yeah.
It's South Grenville District.
Sorry, South Grenville, thank you.
And also, I should add, I don't think Shannon brought it up, but there's no cost to us. So even if we get the grant, we don't have to put any money either. So that's one of those things. So
Well, that's, I'll let somebody else comment first before I do, because I didn't read it that way.
that's the way I was understood that it was.
So
But I think
the grant is for $10,000. If for some reason the project costs more than $10,000, then we would be on the hook for anything,
the
but,
difference.
right, but with South Grenville providing some of the labor and stuff like that to build them, we provide the supplies. We look that we can probably keep this within that $10,000 window. And then if it's well received, we can then look at expanding it year after year if we want to do something more.
Anybody else for my comment? Yes.
So we're gonna supply all the stuff? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Through this grant?
That's correct.
And then who's gonna look after it?
So the raised gardens will be individually rented, so it'll be up to the applicants to take care of
Okay.
their garden, similar to what they have in Prescott. Right? It would probably require a little bit of logistics from the staff perspective to kind of get it up and running first. But to me, we would look at making it hopefully self-sustaining moving forward, right? So.
Anybody else? I like this idea. I think it's great, but after just giving the residents 12.26 a tax rate, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail anything that comes up for dollars. And it's not the way I read it. About the Futures Grant, funding available up to 100% eligible project expenses. Recommended project size between 5,000 and 10,000. Program budget, $20,000 total for the 2025 fiscal year. So if we get $10,000, where's the other 10,000? It's coming from us.
No, I believe their budget is $20,000. For the fund.
Okay. But
Yeah, the objective is for us to have no cost to the township.
exactly, that's what I'm thinking
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
So we would do whatever we can within that $10,000 envelope to start something. And if we need to expand down the road, then we would look at it as a community base to improve it.
Yeah, because I don't think even though it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared as a
Yep.
counselor to vote any money towards that this year,
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
I think we're all on that same page.
Any other comments? Okay, moved by Counselor Henry, second by Counselor Bowen, be resolved that council directs staff to submit an application to Futures Grant through Community Futures Grenville for a community garden. Call the question, all in favor? Carried. Yes. Please, below. Next, we have moved by Counselor Bowman, second by Counselor Henry, be resolved that council receive staff report 2025-051 for information. Does anybody have any comments? This is the communication strategy, data policy development. Mostly around Willow Anderson, who does all of our stuff. And does anybody think she should be doing more or less or anything to that? Okay. Sorry.
Yep. No, it's just a quick.
I'm looking at the counselors.
That's all right. No, just a quick comment was, this is something that we're looking at bringing to council quarterly, just so that council can see the engagement we're doing out in the community, as well as the amount of engagement we're getting back on some of our topics and stuff like that. So as you can see in the report, there's some certain topics that had a larger following than other ones. But certainly I think what we've done over the last 4 months, 5 months now is, I think, being, received out in the community, and, we're starting to get the mayor's point, marketing the Augusta Township.
Yes.
And you know, if, I'm assuming the followers is just Facebook and Instagram.
I think so.
I think there's like, what, 3 people on
Yeah.
Twitter?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, LinkedIn's growing, but yeah, I think it's good. I mean, that number is gonna grow. I just noticed she's been posting a lot of the content to the Augusta Township Development Group, which you're gonna get tons of traction out of. So no, that's good. I mean, it's going in the right direction, and actually reminds me, I need to send you the reports for the last month for the group, which I've been doing on the 10th, but I was out of town, so I forgot all about it. But yeah, no, things are definitely good, and you know, starting to see engagement and information coming from the right sources, which is, you know, the Augusta Township page, which is where people should look first rather than asking questions. So good.
Any other questions? I'm just looking at the mayor's message. I guess I'm looking at 6,100 views, which was kind of surprised at. Reactions 22, 11 shares, 57 comments. Now, a quick question, the comments, are they on Facebook?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they'd be like comments that were made of the posts and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not on our website then?
No.
No, okay.
Now, were you surprised of how high the number was, or expected it to be higher?
Well, I'm just going by the last one I did last year, and I think it was only like 232 or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, is that views of the post or views of the video?
Video.
So on YouTube, it's showing 61.
I believe it's the video, I think it is. Yeah.
1,000 views? That seems high.
I was gonna check it before tonight's meeting, but I didn't.
Right now.
Yes, please, do that.
Do you want a higher count next year? Just have.
Yeah,
Let me just see here.
but, and as you all know, I'm not on Facebook, so it's.
Yeah, so that must be the post, because his actual video on YouTube, it's still not bad, 426.
Yeah, it's doubled.
Yeah.
Last year. Okay. So.
Yeah, 244 was last year.
Yeah. No, it's a good report. And yeah, if she's doing this quarterly, that'd be great. No, I think that's, Mr. Garrett, you said it right from the start. We gotta start marketing ourselves in this, in all areas. So, no, this is great. Good report. Call the question, all in favor? Carried. Yeah. We have moved by Counselor Henry, seconded by Counselor Bowman. Be resolved that council receive staff report 2025-052 regarding the Augusta Industrial Parkland and direct staff to obtain proposals for the completion of the site/costing analysis to bring back to council for further discussion. Comments on that? Yes, W. Mayor?
Yeah, is this gonna take a lot of staff time or any costs involved? Because chances are even if we get a report, it's gonna be quite expensive.
Oh, yes.
So through you, Mayor. So, certainly there will be some costs, to have a consultant come in and do a site and cost analysis. You know, the 180 acres is sitting there right now vacant, and a lot of the conversation we're getting from developers is that we need to have that site ready, which means clearing, which means there's a ravine that kind of goes in as well too. So my personal opinion is understanding what our costs are first. We're getting an estimate, and then we can certainly go and look for some funding through the provincial, federal government for economic development, growth, whatever. We've got burned trees in there that the longer it sits there is going to quadruple, and the seedlings are gonna continue to grow. So I think if we're really serious about marketing that industrial park, we need to figure out a plan that's gonna best suit the move forward and getting employment in there, those lands.
Comments? No? What you probably don't know is, Mr. Garrity and I, basically in the last, well, since Christmas, I guess, we've had 6 or 7 different companies look at this area. And, it always gets back to the dollar value, you know, when we thought we had it sold and the election down south kind of sent everything south. You weren't dealing with $1 billion company anymore, so, so naturally, a lot of these companies now want, it's site ready. So we're looking at, you know, basically how much would it cost to rent, to clear the land, put a decent roadway in there and everything else, so. We've got to know those costs going forward, so. Mr. Garrity's put a great report together with pictures on that. Yeah.
The only, just to the deputy mayor's point, so if council's open to it, what I can do first is get a proposal on what it would cost to do what was mentioned in the report. We do have a reserve, which is economic development, for a reason that we could draw money from to get a report done that would not have any tax impact at all. But I think that's the first step. So when we go to the provincial and federal governments looking for funding, we can have a report that says, hey, this is what we need to get our site ready. We're already doing the feasibility study on Blue Church Road. That was in the budget for this year. So we're getting these things done. And I would hate to have all those reports that we've done on that property over the last, 8, 9 years to be expired, and then we're gonna have to do everything all over again. So it's our industrial lands, and, it'd be nice to get somebody in that property to start building our tax base, especially for large industrial.
Like I said,
But the one question I'd have in that is, you can get a quote from a land clearer.
Yeah.
That would give you a price on having it ready to plant
Exactly.
without paying consulting fees. Which, yeah. So whether your consulting fees, because to get land ready for what farmers pay in this area is between 3,000 and 5,000 an acre to get treated wooded land ready for planting.
yeah, Mr. Garrity.
Yeah, but I certainly don't disagree, is that's probably something easily we can get, but if we wanna understand the road design, we wanna understand if we're gonna fill in the ravine or what other options are available, we're gonna need probably an engineer and stuff like that, right, to do that stuff, right? So we certainly don't wanna go out and get $100,000 study by any means. To me, if we can get something done between, $15,000, $20,000 to bring a report back to council, it gives us a good roadmap forward, but certainly the proposal will come back to council first and council can say yay or nay.
Yeah, I still think we should proceed getting costs on land clearing and everything else, so.
Yeah.
Get the costs so we have the facts, we know exactly. Then the rest we can work in.
And just the other thing I will add is 3 years ago, council did approve funding under the EODF, which was provided $600,000 from the government. And the township agreed to match it of $600,000. We have spent $0 on that right now. That money will probably be lost by the end of this year if we don't do anything, but it's a matching. And I know we don't have the $600,000, but even if we did the consulting part of it, we could probably put that underneath that funding to get half of it paid for.
Any other questions? Like I said, good report, but I think we're all interested in what comes next, sort of thing, with looking at the costs, so. Okay, any other comments? I'll call the question, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next we have the, moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Henry, be it resolved that council receives the attached report for information purposes in reference to bylaw 3777-2025. And this has to do, unless I'm lost here. But the video surveillance? No,
So this one has to do with
no, I'm skipping ahead, sorry.
our Royal Bank loan for the fire department. So this is our next 5-year term of the loan, which would take us to our 10 years. So as council recall, our 2 meetings ago, we did get a new interest rate, which was 4.05. It did increase our monthly payments, which has been reflected in our 2025 budget. So moving forward, this will be our monthly payment for the next 5 years.
Comments, questions? Not happy about it, but not much we can do. The interest rates are the interest rates. You do have a firewall paid for it, so. We'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yeah. Next, we have a move by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bowman, be it resolved that council received the Public Works Activity Report as prepared by the Public Works Manager dated May 12, 2025 for information. Anybody have any comments, questions for our Public Works Manager? I have one question. Why'd you put the counters on the transfer site?
So, we're working on some information going forward for the transfer site, but I'm wanting to know 2-week counts. See what goes in and out there between hours of, or Monday to Saturday. I just want to see traffic counts.
I knew that, but I just. Okay, I thought there was more to it than that, but, yeah.
No, so certainly we've had a lot of discussions in regards to the blue box transition of June 1st. We've had some discussions about the bag tags. So we're looking at collecting a lot of data so that we can bring it back to council with some options or for some long-term discussion.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there any chance you could have a discussion with Fast Eddie on one night being open later?
So that's something certainly that we've had a discussion about and something that we'll reach out to Fast Eddies for sure. And we've actually had that discussion internally as we move forward with the transitioning. So we're looking at bringing hopefully a report back to council sometime in end of May, beginning of June with a lot of this information.
Any other questions?
There's no pictures.
Okay, no pictures, no. I'll call a question, all in favor? Gary, thank you. Okay, next is report 2025-0-055. Moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Be resolved the council approve the video surveillance policy as outlined in staff report 2025-055. Any questions? Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, the one thing that I didn't see, and there's no cost involved in this report. What's it gonna cost us?
Nothing, we already have, the cameras already up. So this is just a policy that basically explains what we're gonna use that information for. The information is, we don't look at that information every day, the camera, we use it if there is an incident there.
But there's a third party that already monitors the thing now?
Yes, secure away that's already built into the budget and everything, so there's no additional cost.
Any other questions? I have one question, all in favor? Here. All right, folks, still getting around here. Okay, next we have report 2025-056, the building department activity report moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bowman. Be resolved the council received the building department activity report for April 2025 for information. Does anybody have any questions? Just looking at the comparison between the 2024 total and the 2025 total.
Not off by much at all.
Okay?
Not off by much.
Other questions? Okay, I'll call the question, all in favor? Carried. Next, we have report 2025-057, health and safety communication policy. Moved by Councillor Bowman, seconded by Councillor Henry. Be resolved, the council approve the health and safety communication policy as presented in staff report 2025-057. Any questions? Concern? No, I imagine just more of housekeeping.
Correct.
Well, okay, we call the question, all in favor? Carried. Yeah, just, that's my printer, right?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, next we have, the notice of motions. And I have one. Just read it here. The notice of motion, industrial excess lands, industrial vacant lands, and large industrial excess lands. That all industrial excess lands, industrial vacant lands, and large industrial excess lands within the township of Augusta be assessed at industrial occupied lands. And that the tax ratios and the calculated rates to be adjusted effective January 1st, 2026. And that a staff report be required by the next regular council meeting of May 26, 2025. Okay, so that's a notice of motion. And so what happens with that, just for those who don't know, the notice of motion, we don't do anything with it. It's on our agenda next meeting. Bring to discussion and, will allow staff to do a report, which can be prepared. Okay, next in the bylaws. First, we have bylaw 3775-2025. Moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bowman, be resolved that bylaw number 3775-2025 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement between Nisa McAllister Tripp and the corporation of the township of Augusta be read a first time, second time, a third time be enacted as read. Comments, questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have bylaw 3776-2025, appointed treasurer, Mr. Lund. Moved by Deputy Mayor Wyman, seconded by Councillor Payne, be resolved that bylaw number 3776-2025 being a bylaw to appoint a treasurer for the corporation of the township of Augusta be read a first time, second time, and third time be enacted as read. Comments, questions? Yes, Mr. Chair.
Just a few words that certainly very pleased tonight to appoint Stephen Lund as our next treasurer for the township of Augusta. For you all that do not know, he's only been here for 2 years, but certainly spent 15 years in Elizabeth Kitley as a deputy treasurer. So he's bringing with him a wealth of experience and also, I think, a new chapter in getting our finance department up with the help of our deputy treasurer, Ann, and getting it back up to where it needs to be. So we're very excited, and I think it completes kind of what our goal is for this office and getting things moving forward. So stay tuned.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, I've had a lot of comments from residents coming in to pay their taxes and they said, Steve's just a really nice young lad. He's got the best smile.
Well, that might change later.
I think council from all of us, welcome, Steve. Like I said, now we're all confident that we'll do a good job, so. But we're gonna ask the hard questions.
That's good. That's what we're here for.
You already passed the first test right there.
Just remember, lots of pictures in your report, stacks of money.
Stacks of dollar bills or $50 bills. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Next, we have, bylaw number 3777-2025, moved by Councillor Page, second by Deputy Mayor Winans, be resolved that bylaw number 3777-2025, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 3451-2019, being a bylaw to authorize a bank loan agreement with the Royal Bank of Canada, be heard the first time, second time, third time, be enacted as read. We discussed it already, so all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? Nope. Good. Oh, did you have an announcement?
Just to let, council know that, our RLA for life is it May 27th, 28th, 27th? So we do have, whatever that Thursday is. 29th, yes. So we do have a full team now, so we team Augusta there representing the community and representing cancer as well too, so look forward to hopefully a nice day out.
Yeah, good cause. Okay, no other questions? Any questions on that?
Well, I'll challenge everybody in the thing. If you don't get $100 in sponsorship, you pay $100.
Done.
You are anyway. I'm not paying for you.
If I don't get 10 people to sponsor me, I'll pay the 100.
Yeah,
There you go.
Okay.
so, any questions, agenda, items from the press? I just want to say before, Veronica, that, a very nice, breakfast for Mother's Day. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did really well. We've, this is our 4th year and word is spreading, so it's nice to see the turnout and the support.
Super.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions at all?
Just regarding, to go back to the community garden idea, you said you're looking at the land here.
Yeah, we haven't picked a location, but we're thinking somewhere around there.
Okay.
Originally, there was the discussion kind of right where the south of the pickleball courts are too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're looking at some area around here that can be used as kind of the start of
Do you
it.
have it would be raised beds?
We're thinking raised would be better, I think, to manage, especially people who are renting would have their own kind of box, so
Right.
it's similar to what they have in Prescott.
Do you have an idea of the size you'd be looking at?
Nothing yet, well, I don't know if it'd be 8 by 8 or something like that, I don't know what the normal sizes of the raised gardens are, but, yeah.
Okay, so something similar to Prescott.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything else, Veronica?
No,
No?
that's it. Thank you.
Any questions from the public, Lori? Yeah. Okay, next we have a closed session coming up. Moved by Deputy Mayor Winans, second by Councillor Page, be resolved that council move into a closed session at 7:03 PM to discuss matters pertaining to approval of previous closed session minutes, April 28th, 2025, and matters under section 239 brackets 2B, personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. So it's good for. Speak to it. Stop. I call the question, all in favor? Carry.
Turn it back on. You guys are live.
Moved by Councillor Page, second by Deputy Mayor Winans. Be it resolved that council met in closed session to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Provide instruction to staff. Call the question on the favor. Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Winans, seconded by Councillor Pate, be it resolved that bylaw number 3778-2025 confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Augusta at its meeting held on May 12, 2025, you're at a first time, second time, and a third time, and be enacted as read. All in favor? Here. Moved by Councillor Pape, seconded by Deputy Mayor Winans, be it resolved that this council meeting do now adjourn at 7:48 PM until May 26, 2025 at 6 PM or in the call of the mayor subject to need. Call question, all in favor? Carried. And remember, please vote letting people go home. Stop working late.
It's a bit more.
Got it?